Hi guys, on this show we're looking at Myers, McGill, Smith, Gwynne, Whitfield, Tomei, Macchio and Pesci. We're doing it for the Youts in 1992's My Cousin Vinny.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of 100 Things We Learned from Film. I'm one of your hosts, I'm Plenty, and I'm a softly spoken southern lawyer.
And I'm the other guy, John, and I'm a suave looking cratty kid. He really was, wasn't he?
He was 40 in the film of the fist.
So he was. he never aged until we seen him on Cobra Kai.
Never seen a frame of it, mate. Sick of hearing people going about how amazing it is.
Get it watched. You know you want to.
I'm too busy watching Succession at the minute.
It's not just for
character.
It's just no for the Ute. It's for everybody. The Ute.
The Ute. Yeah. Okay. What are we talking about this week, John?
We're looking at 1982's My Cousin Vinny.
My Cousin Vinny. Now we're still in that crazy Oscar-winning month that we're talking about. Yep. Again, we've picked another film, as I kind of alluded to at the end of last week's episode, where most people won't be picking this when they're talking about the Oscars.
Yeah.
Definitely not. It won one for the acting of Best Supporting Actress, Marisa Tomei.
Yeah,
and she is brilliant.
Oh, she deserved it. She really did stand out. She looked fantastic as well, and her New York accent was sublime. It was really
all the way through. I'm kind of like, "Hello, Ghostbusters, we got one."
She did well, and she really did deserve that. To be honest, she really did.
What else could we have been talking about?
There was a fair bit out there, right? I'm going to go for the bad to the good, so I'm going to go for Bad Wives Start with Cool World with Brad Pitt. I think it was like an animated thing. Remember that?
Mince, yeah.
Remember that? Do you know that? I put this in the bad section, but it actually isn't. Captain Ron.
Captain Ron is...
so Captain Ron is...
Bill Paxton.
No. Captain Ron is the one with... is it Martin Short? And Snake Plissken.
Okay, you've thrown me completely.
Wow.
I don't know what that movie is.
Have you never seen Captain Ron?
Right. I was maybe thinking of Club Dread. I don't know why I was thinking of Club Dread. Who knows?
And we've got California Man, Wayne's World, yay!
Okay.
Mice and Men, Unforgiven, Single White Female.
Oh, great film! Yeah.
Batman Returns, and a little one we like to call The Bodyguard. Your favourite?
Oh, The Bodyguard. Only watched it all the way through for the first time a couple of years ago. It's quite a lot of fun, actually. It's quite a good film.
It's weird seeing the guy from one of the Kemp brothers for Spandau Ballet in there, isn't it?
Oh, of course, yeah.
He's a bit of a curly haired dick, but he's still in there.
Yeah. I tell you what, we could have been talking about from an Oscars perspective this year. 93. The following one, Schindler's List. We're never going to cover it. We've said a few times. We're never going to talk about Schindler's List.
Happen.
But I'm going to be honest, there's only one film I would feel comfortable talking about here. The other one, that would be The Fugitive.
All right, okay.
I didn't kill my wife. Yeah. I don't care. The Name of the Father. Jesus.
Was that Pete Postlethwaite?
The Irish one.
Yeah.
It's about the Guildford Four.
Yeah.
The Piano. Fucking hell. The Piano's a tough wank. I'll tell you that.
You're so bad. You're going to hell. You know that.
And The Remains of the Day.
Right. Okay.
The Remains of the Day is probably my favourite of all those films.
Oh, really? I didn't know.
Absolutely 100% my
Never
favourite.
Saw that coming. Never saw that coming.
Anthony Hopkins, Emma Thompson, Christopher Reeve, who ends up being a Nazi, little baby Hugh Grant's in it. Oh, I cry my eyes out all the time. And it always makes me think of that with Richard Not Judy sketch. Dear Emma, I am wanking as I write this. Which again is a reference
for nobody. For just us.
This podcast, for them what don't know, is where we try and come up with 100 things from all the nonsense that's going on in the movie and try and see what we come up with. John, are you ready to get fired into, not Marisa Tomei, unluckily for you, you're having to get fired into Joe Pesci?
This gladiator is ready. On my
there you go, Dan. Tell your mate. He's done it, all right? Okay. It opens on this car with this New York license. By the way, the music in this, right? If I was making a film today, it would be full of Britpop indie kind of tunes or possibly ska skate punk, depending on where it was made.
Yeah.
But that's all stuff that's like 20, 30 years old now. All the music in this film, it was infuriating me. It's kind of like, why is all this music so old?
Yeah. Reminded me of the sort of Stephen King's old early horrors where he puts on this music so abstract and shouldn't be there, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, 50s kind of music. I think the point is that Alabama it's still the 50s in Alabama.
Yeah.
And the joke is that these guys at the very start are all kind of like smart and they're all kind of showing off. They pass all these signs for dirt for sale, manure and all that. And it's funny because they're northern and rich and better than people in the south. Yeah, certainly less racist.
Yeah, I'd say so.
But they are Italian, so you don't know. Pretty sure. If you're from the East Coast and you're Italian, come and fight us. And I'm not on about John Arbroath, Italians in Arbroath and Dundee.
Never. Did you notice the book in the back of the car, the college handbook?
I did, mate. Yeah. What do you got?
The only thing I've got is I tried to look for it, but there's that many of them. But you can actually buy that college book for Amazon and for $12.99.
$12.99. Well done, that man. The College Handbook is a comprehensive guide to colleges and contains descriptions supplied by over 3,100 2- and 4-year colleges and universities. According to the website I read it off of, it gives indispensable information on everything from enrolment to financial aid and athletics to housing. This particular one was 2,017 pages. Remember books?
On my Kindle, aye.
Yeah. This particular one, it was for New York University. New York University was established in 1931. The motto is Pastare et pastere, which is to preserve and excel. I mean, you've got to have a basic grasp of Latin if you're going to run a film.
I know, podcast. But it just sounded so Italian there. Pasta to pastere. Where's my pasta? Where's my pastere?
I mean, we're already getting the Italians to fight us, John. You don't have to do any more.
That's me done. I'm not doing it anymore.
Yeah, good. Notable alumni are Martin Scorsese. His mum owns the picture of the dogs looking either way. Spike and Ang Lee, no relation. And it's seemingly where Alec Baldwin learned to shoot.
Oh, that's...
We're starting quick here, John. It's less than 10 minutes into the podcast.
The controversy.
Upsetting everybody. But you love it. You love these 6-month-old references that nobody's making anymore. So they stuck behind this logging truck at one point, and I just got proper Final Destination 2 vibes.
Yes.
I was shitting it for them. I've seen the film about 6 times, and I was still honestly certain that at some point Tony Todd was going to let one of those chains go.
It looks as if they were passing that house that they stayed at in, I think it was the second season of The Walking Dead.
Oh, the farm.
The farm where, aye.
The farm where nothing happened for 9 episodes.
Until they found that big bloated one in the well.
Yeah, and that's all about excitement. People. Somebody's poisoned the water hole. It's a fucking zombie, mate.
It really is. Big boy. God, that was a terrible season. Oh, that waiting just to see that wee lassie bursting at that barn at the end. What a waste of time.
And then there was another series which was kind of okay, and then they went to the prison, and that was fucking annoying. And then there was another series that was kind of okay, and then they went to Sanctuary. Man, why did I stick at that for as long as I did?
I know.
I'm going to go back to series 7. No.
Now that it's done, I'm going to go it. Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
Watch that first episode because that's a perfect little
zombie
film. That. Other than that. Do not waste your time. There's a lot of zombie films out there you've not seen, which I think are probably a lot better. They head into this shop, right? This shop was called the Sacco Suds.
Yep, it's still open, because I noticed that.
Yeah, well, it still stands, but it closed in 2019.
Oh, sorry, it still stands, because
Yeah,
I was looking at all of that stuff. I even looked up Beecham County, which isn't even a place.
No, it's not a place. I also had that. It's in Monticello, Georgia, where this Sacco Suds is filmed, by the way.
Ah, right.
They're buying beans, and they're arguing over these beans. Oh, let's buy the ones that are 31 cents. That's 64 cents today, so an increase of 102%.
I'm sure you'll buy in time to get some cheap food.
Here's a question for you, John. When you're buying beans, do you buy the cheapest lot, or do you buy mid-range?
I'm going to be honest with you. I think they all just taste the same. I've been through a lot. I was a student for a long time, went through a lot of beans, and the cheaper version and the mid-range were exactly the same, so I'm no fussed.
That's a hill a lot of people die on, John, so I think we're going to lose listeners for that. People in Britain are obsessed with fucking baked beans. And
beans are beans.
Honest, they all taste exactly the same when you cover them in paprika, chili, and whatever.
And
cheese.
I mean? And cheese.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've got a quick one before we go on. We've got that. So Wazoo, Alabama is a fictional town, but there is a town in Mississippi called Yazoo City. Yazoo!
Which is a very kind of David Brent moment, isn't it? Yazoo. Well, I didn't get to finish saying Yazoo. Yazoo and the plastic population.
The only way is up.
The only way is up. They buy a slush puppy in this Sacco Suds. Slush puppy, and all this came from slushpuppy.com, founded in 1970 in Cincinnati, Ohio, served in 50,000 outlets worldwide, and they have pina colada and mermaid flavours.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know about the pina colada flavour. I'm sure it's very nice. The mermaid flavour, I've seen that Lighthouse film. I don't think I want to be eating that. And one thing I can tell you for sure, a certain fact, is that shit is really bad for your teeth.
Oh, God, yeah. Got more to add to that. Since 1960, Slush Puppy has been owned and supported by ICE, I-C-E-E, the ICE Corporation.
ISIS?
ICEE.
Oh,
Don't
right,
you start.
okay. Oh, no. Owned and run by... You're going to end up with the Mujahideen on our back.
Exactly. ISIS polls.
Jesus. Very Scottish reference.
Worldwide leaders in frozen beverages and as a parent company of JJ Snacks. I've never heard of J&J Snacks, sorry, but...
No. I had a quick look at J&J Snacks while I was looking on the Slush Puppy website. I didn't recognise any of these brands.
No.
This looks like the kind of shit you only get the Sacco Suds.
Pretty much, it was all the quick save stuff, wasn't it? Nobody remembers the name.
Funnily enough, I have written here Netto, but I don't think you got Netto in Scotland, did you?
No, we did not.
It was a Danish company, and they had like a little Scotty dog was the logo. Mm-hmm. And if you said that someone at school went to Netto, it was basically like they were the most poverty-stricken people in the world. But I grew up in the miners' strike, so fuck any of those kids that had an issue with that.
I know. It's like nowadays anybody shops at Waitrose.
Fortnum's and Mason or get to fuck. And these two kids, of course, you spotted Ralph Macchio. I had absolutely no idea who the other one was. Apparently it's Barry from Friends. No idea.
God, so
he was going to marry somebody
Rachel.
At some point. Yeah. Is he the dentist?
He's the dentist, aye.
He's the dentist. Okay, got you. Now I know who he is.
Is Baldy in that, or is Balding in that?
Yeah. Okay. They leave, and it turns out that Ralph Macchio's nicked a tin of tuna.
Yes. They didn't put it through the AC Allen register till, or the till. What was that all about? I tried to look up the make of that, because it was so prominent when you seen the actual AC Allen, like, did they call it? Is it register over in America?
Register is what they call it.
Yeah, so I looked that up thinking, it's going to be a brand because it was so emboldened on this bloody register, and they couldn't find anything on AC Allen. Sorry, guys.
Please, AC Allen, if you're out there, get on our register.
No, please don't get on the register.
You fiddling bastard. As they leave, they're tailed by this cop. This cop pulls them over and just basically like aims a shotgun at him, doesn't he?
Yeah, straight off the bat.
I was kind of like, it's taken me a little while to remember what had happened in this from having seen it quite a few times, but I was kind of like, he really does kind of,
it's a bit, it's a bit too much.
And when they've separated them, he basically says, come on, admit it. We know what you've done. And he's like, okay, yes, I did it, and I did it on my own. He didn't have anything to do with it, and I thought I'd get away with it. And it's kind of good. It's kind of clever. By this point, we know that the clerk's been murdered. It's not a clerk; it's a clerk. And I've said clerk because it's in the film. But yes, in the UK, we call them clerks. We don't call them clerks, Americans. There you go. How about that? I just like them apples, but we still spell it clerk. There you go.
Oh, because they're taking one into one room and saying you're getting done this. But the aiding and abetting, so I know what aiding and abetting means. Well, I know what aiding means, obviously, aiding. So I actually looked up abetting. It's basically just encouraging someone.
Oh, right, okay. So kind of cheering them on.
Aiding refers to different degrees of support, and abetting involves just encouragement. So there you go. You know now.
Okay, fantastic. Barry's not called Barry.
Say Barry. No, we're going to go with Barry.
He says, "Do you know a great attorney?" And he calls his ma. Hey ma. Hey, they're trying to set us up as patsies. A patsy, the Oxford Dictionary calls it a person who is easily taken advantage of, especially by being cheated on or blamed for something. Used in a sentence, the blonde was drop dead gorgeous, but she was nobody's patsy.
Yep.
That's your patsy. So he says, have we got an attorney in the family? Who? My Cousin Vinny. Hey! You says the title, you wins the film.
You love it, don't you?
I do love it, mate. Yeah, it works for me.
Did the sheriff know, before he said that, it says it's going to get enough, he's going to get the chair, and he's going to get enough electricity to light up Birmingham?
Right, yeah.
So I thought he meant Birmingham. Turns out it's no.
No, I'm going to make sure he's going to be right busting lights out, and nobody's going to be struggling for any lights. Electricity or nothing.
It's going to reach all the way through to Birmingham. It turns out it's Birmingham is in Jefferson County, Alabama. Mm-hmm. As of 2020, Birmingham had a population of 200,733, making it Alabama's second most popular city after Huntsville. Huntsville, Alabama. How do you like them apples? Mate,
apple sauce, bitch.
HP.
He mentions, obviously, they're going to be executed. He says, what's the minimum age of execution in Alabama? Alabama law doesn't state a minimum age for the death penalty, but in 2005, the US Supreme Court banned the execution of those who were juveniles when the crime occurred. At the time of this decision, Alabama death row had 13 inmates who were 16 or 17 years old when the crime occurred.
Right, good.
There you go. They get one call. Yes. Because you do. But in the UK, it's a myth. You're not entitled to a phone call, but you are entitled to inform someone of your detention. So it usually happens on a phone call made by the sergeant on your behalf. Mm-hmm. If you're feeling unwell, a doctor or a nurse will be called.
Well,
in the US, you can make a number of local calls, but you're likely to be charged if you want to make a long distance.
Right, okay. I didn't know that. I know that I've been jailed a lot, but I've never asked for a call. It's not something that comes in your head, is it?
You're the only man in Glasgow that hasn't been jailed a lot.
It's more like, please don't phone my ma.
Yeah, exactly. The next scene, Vinny and Lisa arrive. Mona Lisa.
Oh, God,
it's such an brilliant Italian name. This convertible with the loud music blaring and everyone's looking. And I'm not joking, John. That wig on Pesci.
Oh, God.
That wig, it looks like the wig from Goodfellas when he's young.
That's probably exactly what it is. Oh, God.
Oh, it's fantastic. He pulls over because the wheels have been a problem. Yeah. This non-union Isaac Hayes comes across and says it's mud in the tyres, making the wheels go funny. I couldn't find a single thing about mud in the tyres, so I'm going to assume it's made up for the film Pish.
But I looked up, it did say, so I was looking up a bit, and it did say that mud can cause a vehicle to shake and vibrate. But, because it's feeling unbalanced, but I don't know why it would. It's just mud, isn't it?
Yeah, well, you'd think so, yeah. Mud terrain tyres are a thing, and they're premium off-road tyres engineered for extreme and challenging off-road conditions. So the boys are taken to state corrections, and the sheriff says usually you'd stay in the jail in the courthouse, but you can't because it's being modified or it's being fixed or whatever. So they're sent basically to the prison.
Yeah.
It's really rough. Stan's the other one, Barry, and he thinks they're getting raped by inmates because it's the 90s, and that was funny in the 90s, apparently.
Yeah, and the thing that Alabama's full of the Ku Klux Klan, didn't they?
Yeah,
that's one of the things he says. Well, he did say it's where they originate from, Alabama, but I think we've worked out it's not. It's Tennessee.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
social club. So that was a lie.
Yeah, why, John? Why must films lie to us?
Why do they lie to us? Why do they lie?
So, Billy's asleep. Stan thinks Vin's here basically to rape him. I loved the way that as he comes in, he gives this screw like some money.
I actually looked that up and see if it was illegal, but it actually didn't say, because anytime you put in something like, are you allowed to tip law enforcement, or are you allowed to tip prison wardens, the first thing it says is, are you an informant? Would you like to give them information? Like, no, money. So when they actually tell me whether it was illegal.
That's because you don't tip them. It's a bribe. All right, mate, it's AC-12 here. Have you ever tipped a police officer?
But that was funny when he handed him the notes. I was like, that is too funny, man. That's too funny.
And this kind of misunderstanding of what he's saying. He says, look, it's either me or them. You're getting fucked either way. I didn't come down here to get jerked off. And you go like, okay, okay. Yeah. It's a bit old. It's a bit hack, but I quite liked it. Vinny admits he's a personal injury lawyer. He's never been to court before, and he's been practicing for 6 weeks.
Yeah, but how many attempts did he take to get past the bar?
6 years and 6 attempts.
So I looked up how many you're allowed to have. So luckily in most states you're allowed unlimited attempts, but there's 21 states where it's limited between 3 and 6 attempps.
All right, wow. So in certain instances he might not have got another go.
Yep. So
in Michigan, where our regular listener Maria lives, hi Maria, a first-time bar exam taker pays about $625 for the exam. If they fail and need to take it again, you might find you're paying as much as $300. Yeah. So my argument was this: he's failed it so many times, and then eventually passes. I don't see that as a bad thing. He's had more interaction with that process than somebody that might have passed 20 years ago and not done any cases.
And he's paid a lot of money to do it, so...
Yeah, so he's obviously keen. Yeah, okay.
That's so true. No, that's true.
He goes to see the judge. The judge is the always brilliant Fred Gwynne.
Oh, Jesus.
That voice.
Honestly, love that guy.
Yeah, of course you do.
It's Herman Munster from the Munsters, and the old guy across the road in Pet Sematary.
Pet Sematary, yeah. Absolutely love him where he's drinking his beers on his porch. Until he gets his Achilles tendon slashed by that evil
the worst thing ever
baby.
Seen. Yeah, worst thing ever seen. Oh, you little shit. Fred Gwynne.
Yeah, Fred Gwynne stood at 6'5".
Yes.
During World War II, he served in the United States Navy as a radio man. And for the Herman Munster role, he had to wear 40 to 50 pounds of padding makeup and 4-inch asphalt spreader boots. So the kind of base boots that you could tar the road with. His face was painted bright violet because it captured the most light on black and white film.
Oh,
how good is that? And this is his final film role.
Yeah, I had all these as well, but yeah, his final. Couldn't believe that was his last one. And apparently him and Joe Pesci were good friends.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, so they're quite chummy, so yeah. It's
little and large.
Exactly, because he's only 5'2" or something.
He's tiny, yeah. Master Blaster! He's carried him around in the Thunderdome on his back. Yes, please. I would pay money for that. There's a few things that he's talking about here. He mentions that there's different procedures down here, and that he's got a book and that he needs to be respectful.
Yes,
and everything should be to the letter of the law.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Every state kind of has semi-different rules, but state courts will cover most criminal cases, probate, so that's wills and estates, as I well know in my job, contract cases, so personal injuries, family law. State courts are basically your final place to have an issue with state laws and constitutions,
right?
But can be appealed to the US Supreme Court. The Supreme Court chooses whether or not they hear the case. Cool. So really, if you don't like what you're getting here, you're not going to have much luck with the Supreme Court.
I was reading, and I was starting to read something that says something about Alabama. The reason, like, there was a catch to him saying he's got to learn about the laws and bylaws because apparently there's more in Alabama than any other state. But it gave you gave you like a ratio. I think it was like 4,000 to 24,000 of their sort of by small. It's just a bit confusing, so I just stepped away from it. I just walked away.
Yeah, it's like I walked away from a couple of bits and pieces in this. Anyway, he's going away to do his thing. Now, there's a lot of laws in Alabama, John, so I've decided to get my top five. I'll get your top five.
Get your top five,
and I'll throw you a quiz.
Go for it.
Okay. So, it's true or false? Number one, it is illegal to tie an alligator to a fire hydrant.
That sounds plausible. There's not a lot of alligators down there.
Yeah, well, it's true. Don't do it. Flicking your bogies is illegal.
That's illegal. Oh, is it? I was going to say, because it bloody should be.
Yeah, as the Americans call them, boogers. Throwing salt will get you executed.
As in?
Salt, as in like table salt.
I know, as in the electric chair?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. It's a bit extreme, but I'm going to say yeah, because they're crazy, didn't they?
You're absolutely right. So one time, Alabama was what they call an open range state, which meant livestock could just fucking go wherever it wanted. So what they wanted to make sure was that everyone was accountable. So throwing salt on the tracks would cause animals to cross the railroad tracks, leaving them vulnerable to be hit. I mean, the fucking hell was going on in the 1800s? I have no idea. Confetti is illegal in Mobile, which is a city.
Yeah, because there was something about high heels are illegal as well, aren't there? There's a few things that are illegal. Mobile just sounds like a really fucked up place, to be fair.
Yeah,
I'm going to say true.
You're absolutely right. And finally, having sex with a porcupine's illegal.
Just because they're all true, I'm going to say true.
You're absolutely right. Yeah.
Everyone in those is true.
Why would you? Yeah, they're all true. It wasn't much of a quiz. But why the fuck would you?
Because you'd feel like a right prick with the last one.
Oh. I was going to say I really quite like the drawing of Knuckles, but he's an echidna. He's not a porcupine, is he? I've got some problems.
Yeah, I know, especially with Knuckles during sex.
She said she liked it rough. Oh dear. Yeah, so that's my little quiz. You did very well, John. You got 5 out of 5.
Well, do you know what? See, I was reading a lot about some of the laws because Simon was going through that thing about the bylaws. But when I was looking into it, I did see a few of them. And I thought, do you know what? This is one crazy place. So all that stuff you were saying to me just sounded totally plausible, to be fair.
Yeah. You got any more?
About the laws?
Yeah.
I checked them all out. So I'll tell you some silly ones that I did see. It's illegal to impersonate a priest. Who would nowadays? Who would? Who would? I
don't know. You can get away with having sex with kids, I think.
Oh, they would.
Not that I'm saying that's a good thing. Edit.
You'll be prosecuted for sleeping with a virgin.
It's never going to happen, so that's fine. Yeah.
You can't catcall women, which I thought was quite weird, but you can't wolf whistle and stuff like that.
Wolf, right, okay, I've got you. Yeah.
You can be prosecuted for self-mutilation to get someone's attention.
What?
Yep, so if you try and harm yourself to get somebody's, even if it's like a a show of love or something like that, it's you could be prosecuted for
that. Like Vincent van Gogh.
I think even if you tattoo your willy.
Oh. I'm not okay. I'm not okay.
There's some stupid ones, like...
What do you mean there's some stupid ones?
No, the ones that you're thinking, right, do you know what I can say? Right, you can't drive while blindfolded.
I take that as a challenge.
Bear wrestling is illegal. What?
All right, okay. Well, no, look, I'm going to tell you now. It's something I don't think I've said on the podcast. My grandfather's grandfather once won £5, and obviously that's how long ago it was, for fighting a bear at the Goose Fair in Nottingham.
What?
Now, yeah, it's. And my granddad used to have a photocopy of the newspaper page that he got from the library, like with this little bit of story decrying it. Yeah, so yeah, fantastic. It was £5 back in the 20s or something.
Bare knuckle wrestling.
Yeah, he used to be. That explains it all. He used to be a bare knuckle boxer, and what he used to do is when he was, I want to say in his 60s, 70s, he would fight young lads outside the pub for a pint.
That's a Saturday night in Glasgow.
Absolutely. You know that still happens today in Glasgow. But yeah, that's one of my favourite things about my granddad.
These are my last two, and these ones blew my mind. Right, so it's illegal. You can't put ice cream in your back pocket. It doesn't say how severe it is, but you cannot put ice cream in your back pocket, right? And silly string is illegal because it's seen as an offensive weapon if you've got a can of silly string.
That's just silly.
That's the...
Yeah, those are brilliant, John, and if nothing else, have given us a bit of a giggle and boosted us up a little bit, because we're not getting 100 here today.
We said that before.
We have said that before, but we're not getting... There's no fucking guns. There's one gun in this.
Yeah, and two cars that are the same.
They go back to this hotel, this motel, don't they? Hotel, yes. Motel, Holiday Inn. This hotel was a real hotel in Georgia, but it's now closed. Maybe because there's swine next door. I got
that. Oh, no, was the first one not beside the...
It's the same motel. I think it's the same motel. Do they move motels? Is that what it is?
Because there's three of them.
I thought they just stayed in the same one, but it was a different thing.
No, I'm sure there's three of them.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, I'd kind of not got that. Yeah, so this is the...
There's something you learned. There was three hotels.
Why has this little town got three motels?
I know.
Doesn't sound right.
I know. And they're right in the middle of town as well, because every time you look at a window, they're always surrounded by all the buildings. So it's not as if it's on the highway or something. Or exactly. Bates Motel.
They look like they've been woken up by this massive, huge kind of siren, this hooter, aren't they? That they can hear through the whole town, and it's the siren for the logging plant next door. When they go down to breakfast, they honestly look half dead, but it's like 5 a.m, and they go into this. Oh, Jesus, this place! I love the look of places like this, and I'd love to go to places like this. And they go to the menu, and he says, "Yeah, there's the menu," and they look at it, and then we get to see the menu. What did it say on it?
Oh, I didn't see it.
Oh, the menu says it's got 3 choices: breakfast, lunch and dinner.
All right, so I think I was concentrating on something. I would probably writing notes at that point.
You'd be doing your notes, yeah. They go for breakfast, and it turns up basically swimming in lard. He grabs this, he chops this big bit of lard off, and throws it onto the grill, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's so good.
Lard is rendered hog fat. Which Tom and I learned in this week's episode of Everything We Learned from The Simpsons. So wherever you get your podcasts, we're talking about Bart's girlfriend. Well, yeah, we're talking about that as well, which was really difficult for Tom as a vegan. He doesn't talk about it a lot, like all vegans. So the breakfast comes. It's egg, bacon, and grits.
Yes.
And he's like, "What are grits?" And the guy's like, "Well, grits are you take the corn, you put it in the boiling water and you boil it up for 20 minutes. Yeah. You soak it and you boil it up for kind of 20 minutes. And you kind of like, okay. And he doesn't want to eat it, and he takes like a little bit of like the tiniest bit. I mean, it's just cornmeal, isn't it? I think it's like a porridge, kind of like a savoury porridge. So, knowing somebody, as we do, having a friend that is a southern dame, I don't really know where I'm going with that. Stella!
In the Americas, anyway. In the Americas.
We asked Amanda from super familiar with the Wilsons what she recommends that we do. She says they've got to be creamy. So lots of butter, cheese, and heavy cream if you want them really southern. They also need salt and pepper. Don't let them sit or they get cold and congealed, and that's disgusting, which is very much like porridge.
Very much, yeah. That's exactly what it sounds like, doesn't it? Just don't let it go hard.
It's not a problem for me, mate, I'll tell you.
Rip the skin right off it.
Oh, Jesus. Like your custard with the skin on. God, I like custard with the skin on, I've got to be honest. My custard's never circumcised. Can we just bin this? Can we just? No, I mean the podcast. Can we just bin the podcast? It's done. This is all it is. It's boiled cornmeal. It looks terrible here, of course, but it's as Amanda tells us, I'm sure it's fantastic. When we bugger off over the States,
we'll give it a go.
We'll have some decent stuff, not this stuff. He says, have you ever heard of cholesterol? Cholesterol, John, as you know, it's what Scottish people eat.
Yeah.
Foods that are high in saturated fats contain high levels of cholesterol, such as full-fat dairy, animal fats, butter, ghee, which is clarified butter, I bloody love ghee, lard, suet, and dripping. Also processed meats. So, hot dogs for sale.
Hot dogs!
Will kill you. Will absolutely kill you. Where? Over there by the beef burgers.
Give me all the cholesterol.
I'm a big fan of the cholesterol. Like, good, bad, and ugly. I'll have it all. They head to the courtroom, and he meets his opposing attorney, right? Yeah. Now, this guy, this opposing attorney, we've seen him in loads of stuff, but you absolutely 100% know him from Inner Space. He's one of the bad guys in Inner Space.
Oh, God, so he is.
You know, they get kind of shrunken down.
So he is. I thought, because Richard Ricardo's in it as well from, he's Tex, isn't he? So Richard Ricardo is the holographic doctor in Voyager.
Oh, so he is. Yeah. Well spotted, yeah. First-degree murder is what they've got him on. The judge picks up on how he's dressed. Wear a suit and tie made out of some kind of cloth, which I liked. He's trying to argue, and it's an arraignment, so it's guilty or not guilty, which I didn't know. The arraignment's a procedure at the start of a trial. Details of the offence are read out. The defendants are asked whether they plead guilty or not guilty.
Yeah, I had that as well, because I didn't know what it meant either.
You've no arguing. Arguing at this point.
But he messed it up, didn't he? He kept saying, you've got two choices here, guilty or not guilty, and he just kept talking, didn't he? That's what was quite funny.
And what happens to him on the back of that?
Oh, he gets sent to prison.
He does. He gets contempt of court.
Yeah.
And it takes $200 for him to be bailed.
Yep.
Yeah. Contempt of court happens when someone risks unfairly influencing a court case. It may stop somebody from getting a fair trial and can affect a trial. This is from the US Code, verbatim. In all cases of criminal contempt arising under the provisions of the Act, the accused, upon conviction, shall be punished by fine or imprisonment or both, provided, however, that in case the accused is a natural person, I don't know what that means, the fine to be paid shall not exceed the sum of $1,000, nor shall imprisonment exceed the term of 6 months. There you go.
Wow, said like a true American.
Said like an American. Not an American't. He talks about law as a process, like replacing a carburetor. She's cashed in half the traveller's checks because she got hustled at pool by this guy called JT. they head to this pool hall. Carburetor is a device that mixes air and fuel for internal combustion engines in an appropriate air-fuel ratio for combustion. John, cars bore me senseless, so I didn't go into any more of that.
I know.
I drive, and it's important that I drive, but I would not know where to start with a motor.
In fact, it breaks down. I've got RAC cover, so I'm okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's my gaffer's problem if my company car breaks down, not mine.
I don't care.
I don't care. They go into this place full of all these trucker-looking arseholes, don't they?
Yeah.
Full of, like, this place got bikers, good old boys, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Shit old boys. Not good
it looks like it wasn't even as good as that. See the scene where Eddie Murphy and that, Nick Nolte go into the bar in 24 Hours, where it's proper good old boys in it. It's a horrible scene.
I haven't thought about 24 Hours in ages. That's something I need to watch.
Get it watched.
Goddamn naughty! I've got naughty!
It's just Eddie Murphy walking about with his cowboy hat on, chewing on one of his toothpicks or that.
Yeah, it is. It's a good movie.
Great movie. And it's got the Crowboy in it. D-Bird.
Oh, so it has. Well, Jesus Christ. How recently did you watch this film?
Oh, God. What age am I now? It's easily got to be 20 years ago, but I loved it. But I watched one of those ones. I watched it a few times one after that, so it was stuck in there.
He's talking offers and counter offers with this guy. He says, "If I kick the shit out of you, do I get the money?" And then there's this guy with a neck brace, and he goes, "Did you fall in your place or someone else's?" He's like, "My place." Ah, shit.
Yeah, because he's a personal injury lawyer, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, absolutely. Back at the motel, they have an argument about this faucet and a torque wrench that's really oddly sexualized, and I just didn't get it. I think don't have an argument about, like, she's really sexy. Just have sex with her.
Yeah, I think that's it. I don't know if it was just like a whole role play thing, being the plumber and all that, but yeah, it started getting a bit heated, didn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, let's be honest, John. If Pesci can get a Tomei, there's hope for all of our listeners out there. All of those ugly chuds that listen to this podcast. There's hope for all of you people.
I mean, she's still got it in the Batman, Superman, get right. In the Spider-Man films, she is absolutely drop dead gorgeous. So
I would argue she's better looking.
Yeah, she's getting better age.
Yeah,
better age.
I think I'd Weber. No, I'm not. I'm not doing it. No,
get it, Spider-Man. Get it, Spider-Man.
Go Web, go.
God, this has gone in the wrong direction, isn't it?
Hey, say, Peter, I've got something of a hot aunt too. Not the Aunt May from the original Raimi spell.
Hell no! What is that all about?
Maybe not. The next day, the boys basically get fingered by these witnesses, right?
Yep.
Blatantly not what happens. There's this old girl saying she saw them across the street. There's this guy says he saw them out of the window. Mm-hmm. And there's the big lad says he
saw them eating breakfast.
I'd seen it. Yeah, exactly. Oh, well, who's making his breakfast, of course. Even the sheriff's at it, reading his report, and he's like, I shot the clerk. And I'm like, no, that didn't happen. Anyway, there's enough evidence.
Oh no, he did it. He did it at the beginning though, because he kept saying when they were leaving the conversation, he kept asking the question. I shot the clerk. I shot the clerk. Yes, of course. He's asked the question, but he's actually saying it.
He's reading it without the intonation. Very good. Yeah. Vinny gets tried for contempt again by not wearing the right clothes. You were serious about that? And the trial's set for Monday. She bails him out, and he admits he's afraid he can't do it. But she believes in him. He'd be really great. You'd be really great if you don't fuck up, which I thought was lovely. It was really sweet. It's the middle of the night, and they're waken up by these fucking swine at this slaughterhouse.
Oh God, yeah, that'd have been terrifying to hear. Yeah.
It's bad enough hearing the cat meow in the night. The boys agree to meet the public defendant. So, public defendant is the guy that looks after you if you can't get another lawyer.
Yes.
So we used to call it, and I couldn't for the life of me remember what we used to call it in the UK. It used to have a legal aid, it used to be called. That was it.
Oh, sorry,
I'm trying to think of it today. You remember legal aid?
Legal aid,
Remember legal aid? You remember?
Is that still a thing?
When you got taken to court, you couldn't afford it. It's not called legal aid anymore. There is a panel. There's a panel, but it's not called legal aid anymore.
Right, okay. But did you notice who he was, though?
Mate, how could I not? How could I not? Austin Pendleton.
Right.
It's our first Austin Pendleton film.
Who's your favourite character?
My favourite Austin Pendleton is the chief of robotics in
Johnny Five. That's exactly that. As soon as I heard his voice.
And what happens if one of those things goes crazy and melts a bus full of nuns?
Exactly.
What would the headlines be then? Nun soup. But as I was certain, I think we've did this on a podcast before. Nun soap. I always thought it was nun soap. Did we do this on a podcast?
I think I've heard you say it before.
Maybe not. Yeah, nuns.
But yeah, as soon as I heard him talking, I was like, oh my God, it's Johnny Five. It just brings it straight back to you because he was such a great, sympathetic character in it. I loved it.
Future episode, question mark?
I would happily do the first one, but not the second one. So I think the second one would make us into a lot of trouble because there's more of that character in it that you think, ooh.
Yeah. Well, we're watching Succession. I know I keep going on about this. We're watching Succession at the moment, and I believe he's in series 2, not browned up, which I'm kind of glad about. But yes, help me, Rhonda. Help me, Rhonda.
He was the main baddie. I'm sure he was the main baddie or one of the baddies.
Super Mario Brothers.
But also, what was the one way Angelina Jolie and Sick Boy for Trainspotting and Hackers? He was the main baddie in it with a skateboard. He was so cool, man.
Wait, I'm going to have to watch Hackers again. Future episode?
Yeah, definitely. But yeah,
future episode.
You see him whipping about in his skateboard, going into his limousine.
Yeah. Austin Pendleton, by the way, he's good. He's not in either of those 2 last films we've just talked about. But I absolutely love him. He's got this fantastic southern lilt, which you love. Yeah. He meets with Stan, and Stan's like, "Yeah, we're going with you." Mm-hmm. Billy explains to Vin that he wants to go with the defendant too, and Vinny says that the district attorney needs to make a case out of bricks. And this was a really good analogy for me. He says the bricks are thin. He's got these playing cards. He says the DA's case is a trick. Give me a chance with the first witness, and I'll get it done. Now, he's going through playing cards, and I was kind of like, right, okay. We haven't taught playing cards yet. Playing cards may have been invented during the Tang dynasty, around the 9th century AD, as a result of the usage of woodblock printing technology and food that space men can have in the shuttle. That was Tang, wasn't it?
Space Grand.
Space Grand, yeah. You'll be astounded by this. You know, we've got clubs, spades, hearts and diamonds.
Yep.
In Italy and Spain, your cards have clubs, swords, coins and cups.
What?
What indeed, mate.
I can't keep up.
Aye? Yeah.
So, spades...
Spades. No, they don't. They have swords, coins, cups, and clubs. But clubs as in what you fucking batter somebody with.
So, what did Motorhead sing earlier? The ace of clubs. The ace of clubs. Ding, 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 ding. You know you wanted that.
I don't think Lemmy ever spoke Italian. Maybe if he'd gone to New York University, he'd have at least had a motto to
the ace of sword. The ace of sword.
We've not even been drinking yet. This is terrible.
I'm drinking out a beer.
I've not touched a drop. Billy explains to Stanley, I loved this, by the way, that at his cousin Ruthie's wedding, Vin showed up. I'd forgotten about this. Vin showed up with this guy. You know that guy, the great Alakazam? He's like, oh, the magician guy. Yeah. He showed him up, giving away all his tricks, going, there's a bend in the thing. It's up his sleeves. He swallowed the I was like, this is this man's livelihood, you fucking arsehole.
You bastard.
But I really liked it, and that's why he's keeping him on. So they're splitting. They're going with different defendant each. Back at the pool hall, this good old boy has got this roll of cash, and he's like, "Here you go, I've got your money." And he's like, "How do I know? How don't I know that's not a roll of ones with a 20 wrapped around it?" He's not having any of it. He just storms off, doesn't he?
No, he stares at me unfolded, doesn't he? And he looks and goes like that and walks away.
Yeah. Next night, there's a train going by at the signal right next to the thing.
At 5 o'clock in the
shakes
morning.
the motel. Yeah. Of course, John, the only thing I can think of is, how often does the train go by? So often you won't even notice. He's drinking coffee with this guy Trotter. For some reason I'd written Fox. I've no idea why. He explains he got told to try this because he argued a traffic ticket in court and got off. And the judge explained he'd make a great lawyer. Mm-hmm. He said, he was proud of me when I graduated. And I thought that was really sweet because the old boy came along and
did his graduation do?
Yeah, which is good. Vin goes with Trotter hunting, hoping that he'll drop his guard. Right? Yeah. Lisa's furious, as she should be. Imagine you're a doe-eyed, leaf-eating deer, and then, BAM! A bullet rips off part of your fucking head. It's really good. I almost expected her to turn around and go, they spit on their own floor. In their own home. They spit on their own floor. Man, Goodfellas. How long would we spend recording Goodfellas?
Oh, God,
we're halfway through this one.
I know. You'd sit and spend more time bloody watching it and doing anything else because it's hard to write notes when you watch a film like that.
Of course it is, yeah. Vin goes to this thing and basically says to him, can I have a look at your files to Trotter?
Yeah.
And he's like,
yeah.
You know what? Sure. Yeah. Absolutely. I'll get my.
Do you have a Xerox machine?
Yeah. He said, no. I'll get it to Xerox them for him. And he comes back proud as punch, doesn't he, with all the things.
Yeah.
She's been reading the book.
Yeah.
But she basically knows a lot more than he does because it turns out that it's called disclosure. Not to be confused with Robert Loggia. Which kind
I was going to say, not to be confused with that
film
with Michael Thingy in it.
Oh, Demi Moore.
Demi Moore and...
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Michael Douglas.
Very good.
I don't think I watched it all the way through.
He does all right for an ugly bastard, doesn't he?
No.
Michael Douglas. He does all right.
Cancer out of the throat with all that poontang he's eating.
Oh, yeah. Bloody, yeah. Well, that's obviously, I don't know, I assume by oral sex with Welsh women.
Yeah, getting in a bit the buds of me.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Really giving him the mumbles. These Welsh geography jokes doing anything for you, listeners? So they head back into the court. He's in this lovely 90s suit with this really wide tie and all this kind of stuff. In his office, the judge has got a fax saying that there's no record of him. And he says, no, that's not right. I practice law as Jerry Gallo, who's a big attorney. Jerry Gallo, by the way, I did look into this guy. I couldn't find him, but I did find Jimmy Gallo, who was an enforcer for the Corleone family in the Godfather film. Which doesn't really count, but I've added it to the list.
Corleone family.
Always back to these fucking gangster films. So I guess kind of maybe it was related in some way. Trotter's allowed him to use this cabin in the woods, right? I was absolutely heartbroken that they didn't find a Necromicon in the basement or anything.
Clato! Love it.
Or a unicorn, like in that in the Cabin in the Woods film. You know, where they're going through all the things that could have killed.
Oh, God, yeah. So they go through the scenarios, don't they? Yeah, like the...
I really enjoyed that film.
I thought it was good. I really thought it was good. And I like the fact that Chris Hemsworth got it pretty much halfway through, because I thought they were going to hold on him for a lot longer, but no, I really rated Cabin in the Woods.
But it was filmed 18 months before Thor. So actually, he was a relatively unknown at the time.
Oh, was he?
It had been sat on by the studio for some reason or other. Probably because your man that wrote and directed it, Joss Whedon's a piece of shit.
Oh, God,
It's maybe down to that. But who knows?
Who knows?
All the girls love Mandy Lane, and that's the important thing.
Apart from Johnny Depp.
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah. So there's these owls keeping him awake, these screech owls. He fires blindly into the night, which I was kind of like, okay. And they drive away into this field to get away kind of from this owl. And she's like, oh, this is really romantic. I'm like, it's the middle of the night. You're knackered. We're sleeping in the car. It'd be freezing. There's this massive storm and the car gets stuck in the mud. Joe Pesci's trying to get them out of the mud, and his stuntman slips in the mud. Blatantly a child in a wig.
So it was,
a little tiny person in a wig.
An Oompa Loompa.
this good old boy's waiting for him at the hotel. He punches him out and takes the $200.
Oh, so he does, yeah. And it was well done as well. He kind of jumped up there to do it, but he still did it.
Oh, yeah, he like dives at him, doesn't he? It's like
he really
a real kind of like superhero punch. His suit's ruined in the mud, so he turns up in this salmon tuxedo from the second-hand shop. Son, are you on drugs?
I'm sure I've seen John Leguizamo wear that in a film. I'm positive I've seen him wear that one.
I thought it was very much like the Dumb and Dumber suits that they wear.
Yeah, the tux, yeah.
Or the beginning of There's Something About Mary, the Frank and the Beans scene.
That's right. When
looks like that.
Yeah. Oh, God.
You've got the Frank above the beans, John. Jesus.
That scene
the beans above the Frank. Yeah.
That always gives me the fear, that scene.
Yeah. Keith David, though.
Yeah.
You got the beans above the Frank and the ass to ass. It's been ages since I've done ass to ass. Oh no, I shouldn't say that. Don't edit that particular bit. Don't put that on every podcast we do.
I'll just like, it's been ages since, and I'll just put, I've done ass to ass. That's all they're going to hear.
An hour and a half of me saying ass to ass.
I've done ass to ass.
Trotter claims there's evidence of the car, gunshots, and eyewitnesses. He goes up to talk to the jury, and he says, "Everything that guy says is bullshit. Thank you." and he's like, strike everything apart from thank you. Apart from thank you. At least he's polite.
Oh, brilliant.
Austin makes his opening statement, but he's got this really nervous stutter that makes him impossible to follow, and he spits everywhere. He's talking to... Vin's talking to this first eyewitness. He says, "How far away were you?" She's like, "About 50 feet. Do you think that's close enough?" "Yes." "Oh, no, so this is the guy first, isn't it? Do you think that's close enough?" "Yes." He says, "Do you wear glasses?" And he says, "Yes, but for reading."
I know.
Sorry, this was Austin. This wasn't Vinny yet. Vinny says, "Is it possible that the two Youts..." Did you say Ute?
Youts.
Sorry, youths. Is it possible that they were two different men?
Youts. That makes me laugh.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
He says, "I was making breakfast when they went in, and I was eating breakfast when they left." And he says, "All right, what were you making?" "Grits." He says, it was only 5 minutes. I was making grits. And he says, "And you make your grits properly. You don't use instant grits, do you?"
Uh-huh.
No self-respecting Southern guy would
use instant grits.
Yeah, and he says, "Well, grits take 20 minutes to cook." "I'm a fast cook," is the point. That was really good. And this is probably my favourite line in the whole thing. "Do the laws of physics not apply on your stove?"
Yeah.
Is it a magic stove?
I enjoyed that bit as well.
He gets done for contempt, and he says, "No, don't bail me out." He sleeps like an absolute baby in this prison.
There's
a riot going on. It's great fun.
Yeah, so the Youts thing, so it came from the director's English.
All right, okay.
So he couldn't understand them when they actually says youths, because they said it like Youts. So they decided it was such a funny conversation that they actually decided just to keep it in. Youts.
Okay.
Youts.
Yeah, it's. I do like that. I do like that line. I've been saying that for a few weeks now.
You really have, haven't you?
Yeah, I have a lot. Yeah. The next day, next witness. This guy, he says, "Oh yeah, I saw them leave." Because he's already been to interview them, hasn't he? I didn't mention this.
Yeah. So they're taking pictures and stuff, so they've interviewed them all yet.
And he says, well, hang on a second. He says, "There was lots of brown stuff on your windows. What was the brown stuff?" "Well, I guess they're kind of dirty." "Yeah, and what do you look through then? A rusty screen?" "Yeah." Mm-hmm. "And then what would you call those things with lots of leaves on them?" "Well, they're trees and a bush between the sack of suds." "Is it possible it was two people in a different convertible?" "Well, I guess."
How many? Didn't I say how many bushes were there? And including those two, 7. 7 bushes. Like, what the hell?
Right. Yeah. Mrs. Riley's next. This old girl, she's fantastic. She got these glasses she pulls out like Deirdre Rashid.
Yeah, she really does, doesn't she?
From Coronation Street. She says, how far away were they? Oh, 100 foot. Is it too far to know? I said, no, I'm pretty confident. So he gets this huge tape measure out, like you would used to have to use at school for measuring the playground.
Yeah, the industrial ones.
Expected him to get one of those wheels on a stick, that used to click.
Yeah.
And he kind of goes all the way at the end of the courthouse, which is 50 feet, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And he holds up 2 fingers. He says, can you tell me how many fingers I'm holding up? The judge, for the record, the defendant is holding up 2 fingers.
Aye.
Fuck's sake.
I know. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. She guesses 4, but it's 2. Maybe I need some new glasses, which I thought was really cute. The next day, this witness comes in. This federal vehicle inspector. Now, this is where I started to really lose the plot with the facts in this film. Mm-hmm. Because it really got very fucking boring for me to look into all the things that are here.
So apparently that piece that you talked about, the equipment he used was actually taken from a transcript of a case at some point. So verbatim as well. So it probably is a lot of crap, but I always like as well supercharge this and didn't get it.
Yeah, he talks about the tyre. The tyre make and model was Michelin, the model XGV75R14, not a real tyre. Of course, Michelin tyres are real. If you wanted a Michelin tyre, Pilot Sport 4S, John, which is probably a bit too good for your car, 256 quid per tyre.
Per tyre?
I
could get 4 tyres for that.
Part 1, yeah, obviously. If you want to go a little bit more budget, Michelin Cross Climate Plus tyres, which are extra grippy, apparently, according to this, 74 quid per tyre.
Extra grippy sounds good.
Extra grippy does sound good in the current stormy weather we've got. So, but he talks about a few different things. He says, look, it's absolutely not possible because the tyre marks match the same model tyre and shape, and it has to be that specific one. It's very rare there would be any other type of car that would have that particular tyre and that particular type of wheelbase.
Yeah.
Later on, the judges fax the state of New York, and he knows Jerry Gallo is dead. He's a dead lawyer.
Yeah.
He says, no, you've got it wrong. I'm Jerry Callow. Jerry Callow.
Easy mistake to make.
Exactly, yeah. He calls the clerk, who says he'll call back in 2 hours. So he says, you've got 90 minutes. At dinner, Lisa offers to help while he's eating. And I'm not joking. Did you see the size of this dinner he was eating?
Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
All I'd want to do is go to sleep after that.
Yeah, it was everything. Because the sweet corn and the dip and the ribs and it was brilliant.
Yeah, there was a bit earlier on in the film where they were eating ribs outside of this place, and it just looked dry and horrible.
Yeah, those ones were rotten. But the one he was eating was good.
So Lisa's offering to help him, and he basically talks to her like shit. She's got these pictures, and he's kind of like going, "Oh yeah, help me out with these pictures of this and pictures of that." Everywhere she's been taking pictures on this pink Kodak Disc 3600.
Who's still my facts here?
Couldn't find a pink one, John, but I found a black one unopened on eBay for £18.88.
You can't get the film for them though, can you? You can't get discs for them anymore.
No, probably not. I'm sure there'll be people with them second hand if you're lucky. But yeah, that's about it. So he takes these pictures. She storms off, doesn't she?
Yeah, no wonder he does talk to her like shit.
He's awful.
Or you sold the case and it was just a picture of him standing in the shower. What a prick.
Yeah, exactly. One of the pictures has tyre marks, but he completely misses that. He goes back and says, is it possible 2 cars of the same tyres? Yes, they're a popular size and make. Then he spots the picture. He asks for a recess. He talks to the sheriff about something. He asks the sheriff something, but we don't know what at this point. Mm-hmm. And then he goes to see Lisa, who's on the phone, not talking to him, and manhandles her into the court.
Yeah. Grabs her back in, doesn't he?
Yeah. She's an expert witness on automobiles. She won't look at him. And he says, can I treat her as a hostile witness? Do you two know each other? Yeah, she's my fiancée. Oh, that explains why she's so hostile. Which I really like. Brilliant. She's from 4 generations of mechanic. So what would the ignition timing be on a 1955 Bel Air 357 Chevrolet? Trick question. They didn't make one in the 55. So she's a genius. She knows everything. I imagine that's the list of things we learned.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
Because why not? Thank you very much for that, Lisa. He shows Lisa's picture of the tyre tracks. And the tyre marks are of a 63 Pontiac Tempest. Fact, she says. The 64 Skylark has no positive traction and delivers power to both wheels equally.
Yeah, knew that.
Yeah. So this car had independent rear suspension, and it couldn't possibly be their car.
Yeah.
Trotter and this guy Wilbur, who's the car expert, are discussing. Vinny calls him up, and he agrees what Lisa said is accurate. Vinny calls Sheriff Farley, who says there was a stolen Pontiac Tempest with the tyres, stolen and arrested in Georgia with a 3.357 Magnum, which is the same caliber bullet
that killed the clerk.
Trotter dismisses charges, and Vinny wins.
Yay! But it's struggling to get out the bloody courtroom, though.
Desperate to leave, and they won't let him. The judge collars him and says he got a fax saying he was a great lawyer.
Yep.
Lisa had been on the phone to the judge that had helped him get the job in the first place at the NY office to vouch for him.
But did you see the wave that he got from the judge when they were driving away?
No.
It was the same wave he did his Herman Munster.
Oh, was it really?
He did the wave. Did you not see it?
Right.
Oh,
no, I didn't. No, I'm going to have to go watch the last few minutes.
Yeah, so the wave is the wave that he used at the Herman Munster when he was waving the family away, remember?
Yeah, I do remember that now, yeah. Oh, fantastic. That's all I've got. I think I might have one or two more if I just scroll through my notes. What have you got, John?
The other thing is I think a very young Will Smith went for the part that Ralph Macchio played.
Oh, right, wow.
Yeah, so, which I don't know how that worked.
Well, I think the locals would have been a lot less understanding.
Yeah, but that's all I've got. The one, I had the camera one, but you got that one straight away, so well done you.
Yeah. If you wanted to drive from New York University to Mobile, Alabama, it would take you 18 hours and 19 minutes, and it's 1,213 miles. The murder. There are degrees in the US, but if you get tried for murder in the UK, you just get tried for being a murdering bastard.
Yeah, we don't get the degrees, do we?
No, we do not. And that is all I wrote. How many, John, while I tot them up, do you think we got?
Oh, I don't even know if we were close enough, but I'm going to go 85.
Go a little bit higher.
89.
Go a little bit higher.
95.
Go a tad higher.
99.
96.
Oh.
96, John. It's disappointing, but it's pretty good. If I'd not zoned out on the cars, we might have got some more. But I didn't want it to be boring. I didn't want it to be any more boring than it is.
To be honest, there was only three sort of types of cars in there, weren't there? There was only pretty much three in there. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Enjoyed that. Great stuff. I hope you enjoyed that too, listeners. If you want to check us out on the socials, you can do. We're on Twitter at 100 Things Pod. We're on all the other socials at 100 Things Film. Please rate and review if you want, but just tell a pal or a friend or a family member or your mam. Don't tell your mam, or don't tell my mam. I've talked about ass to ass on this again, and all the other things. So, but yeah, just look, get somebody else to listen to what we do. John, where else can you be found?
I can be found on Divided by a Common Language, doing a itty-bitty quiz show with Be There Wilson and Super Familiar with the Wilsons.
Yeah,
super
absolutely.
Familiar.
Yeah.
And Kirsty, obviously.
Obviously, yeah. Let's not miss her off because she listens to this and will batter you for it.
Pretty much, yeah.
No one's listening. You'll get me at the minute talking about what 6 things I would take into space on That Efkin Show with our good friend of the podcast, Dean. Who came on for our basketball episode. That was a lot of fun and absolute filth. I am not being invited back on that. That's the current episode of that. John, what you got to say?
What to the Ute? To the Ute, I say. To the Ute, I say. Thank you, Ute. You're the Ute of today. Thank you so much for listening.
Yeah, cheers. And we'll be back next week with something else that we haven't yet decided to talk about. Hopefully, 100 things. But until then, he's been John. I've been Planty. And this has been 96 things, painfully close to 100 things that we've learned from My Cousin Vinny. See ya.
See you guys.